Hi, this is Brando from Brando's Ductwork Services LLC. Today we're here to talk about the coil not being blocked off as per the previous videos and safety concerns. So in many cases, if you look online and you talk to people, I've been told many times that if you don't block off the coil, it's no big deal. You'll just smell like a little bit of burning and then it'll go away. For the most part, that's true. You got a metal vent, you got nothing that's going to catch on fire. Um, but unfortunately, that's not true in all case scenarios, so just bear with me here. So take for an example, Chicago houses. These are very common in Chicago houses. So in a Chicago house, a lot of times they try to install a bigger unit, so you get more AC or you get more heat. But the ventilation is just not big enough to handle that bigger unit. So what they do is they swap the supply and the return. So now the return is now the supply and the supply is now the return, because the return is normally much, much bigger and it can handle the bigger unit. So this seems like an easy, quick fix, so that way you don't have to redo all of your ductwork. However, in a lot of houses, the return is normally made out of the baseboards of your house and the walls. So, aka, it's going to be the wood, the 2x4s. And normally, like older wood, catches on fire a lot easier than newer wood. So, when they go ahead and they switch that, they don't really think about what they're doing as far as like maintenance and safety. So when you do a duct cleaning and you get a whole bunch of dust and it piles up in there, and then you add like a Nerf ball or a plastic toy, you add like a couple of matches or a lighter because you're at a smoker's house, um, and then that fire ignites in the coil, it's not just going to go out most likely. So it's probably going to catch a fire to that wood. So, I mean, if it's blocked off properly and there's, it's metal vent, you probably don't have to worry. But if it's in the wood, you have a much higher risk of something happening. And I believe that many of these Chicago houses have this setup. So you should definitely be very careful on that. And honestly, I would like to do a poll based on how many houses caught on fire and they have no known cause of what happened, and then see if they got a duct cleaning done anytime, like right around that same time frame or that same day. I'd be very interested to see what the results were. But I think we should have some extra safety people look into this, because I've came across this many of times and I do know how fires start, and this just doesn't seem very safe to me, which is why you really need to block off that coil. Just avoid the risk altogether. And as many people have said online and told me in person, it's very unlikely to happen. I believe it's more likely to happen in these kind of houses, and you should really pay attention to details, and you should really ask some people and maybe even get a safety advisor to take a look at what actually happens, and if this is something that we should be training all uh, air duct cleaners to do. So this is Brandon again with more pro tips. Catch you next time.